Camera down the road, I'll catch you. Watch it. Right there. See?
JBNN keep you informed. I'm Michelle Jones, and in the news, Manhunt launched as 10 gunmen evade police during supermarket break-in attempt in Spalding. Police in Manchester have launched a manhunt in search of a group of gunmen following a shooting during an attempted break-in at a supermarket in Spalding on Thursday morning. A police source said that about 3 a.m., 10 armed men traveling in at least 3 cars attempted to break into the establishment located close to the Manchester-Clarendon border. The police were reportedly met with heavy gunfire when they responded to the break-in, and a shootout ensued. The gunmen managed to escape and reportedly abandoned 2 motor cars at Walderson and Spring Ground. The police said one of the vehicles was reported stolen. There were no reports of injuries to any member of the police team. 3 gunmen arrested in car park at Petro Jam. 3 men armed with guns, one of whom is considered to be a known producer of violence, was this morning arrested on the compound of the state-owned oil refinery Petro Jam. In a statement this afternoon, Petro Jam said the gunmen were apprehended by the police in the car park designated for contractors, which is located outside the security checkpoint. 2 guns were also recovered. Petro Jam says the men are not employees or contractors of the agency. The police are investigating the matter. The identities of the men are being withheld, the police said. Petro Jam says it remains committed to the safety and security of its employees and property and will continue to monitor the situation. Man shot during alleged tussle with cop in West Morland. A man was shot during an alleged tussle with a policeman on Beckford Street in Savamar, Westmoreland on Wednesday afternoon. The man, who has since been hospitalized on a police guard, was reportedly shot after he attempted to take the cop's gun. Reports said that around 2:30 p.m., a police team on foot patrol observed 2 men fighting and intervened. The now injured man, who was armed with a stone and a piece of board, was instructed by one of the lawmen to drop them but did not comply. The man, it was reported, threatened to hit the cops if they tried to apprehend him. He then allegedly attempted to throw the stone at the team of policemen, and one grabbed onto him and tried to subdue him. This resulted in a tussle between the man and the cop. It is alleged that during the tussle, both men fell to the ground and the policeman's gun fell from its holster. The cop retrieved it and the man reportedly attempted to get control of the gun. Another tussle ensued and a round was discharged from the cop's weapon. Another policeman reportedly used his baton to strike the man's right leg to subdue him. He was subsequently restrained and transported to hospital, where he was treated for a wound to his right leg and admitted. The cop with whom he had the tussle was treated for minor injuries. SOEs declared for Hanover, St. James, St. Catherine and Clarendon. States of public emergency, SOEs, have been declared across the entire parishes of Hanover, St. James, St. Catherine and Clarendon. The SOEs took effect at midnight and will remain in place for 14 days. A media release this morning stated that this crucial decision, announced by Prime Minister Andrew Holness, underscores the government's commitment to the safety and security of Jamaicans. Holness also stressed the vital role of community cooperation in cauterizing crime. The cooperation of every Jamaican is essential. We must unite to ensure our nation's safety. These measures are temporary, but critical in augmenting the efforts of our security forces, which have yielded significant results. The government continues to invest in enhancing our nation's security infrastructure, he stated. Holness said the SOEs would enable the security forces to conduct targeted operations aimed at dismantling criminal networks and curbing murders. Meanwhile, National Security Minister Dr. Horace Chang urged the public to perceive these measures as a united stand against crime. We call on citizens nationwide to back these efforts. Together, as a nation, we can triumph over these criminal elements, he stated. A previous SOE, which was declared for St. James, expired last night. School plunged into mourning as grade 3 student collapses and dies. Tears flowed freely down the cheeks of grief-stricken teachers and students at Wakefield Primary and Infant School on Wednesday morning as they mourned the sudden passing of 8-year-old grade 3 student Alexia Drummond, who fell ill at the school after the lunch break on Tuesday. Little Alexia died late Tuesday afternoon at Conway Regional Hospital, shortly after she was transferred from Falmouth Public General Hospital. On Wednesday, Alexia's parents, Patricia and Omar Drummond, who were on the compound, were too shaken to speak to reporters. They were ushered into a classroom where they were comforted by members of the school community and visiting guidance counselors. A bereaved Cheryl Chisholm, Alexia's class teacher, recounted that shortly after resumption of classes following the lunch break, she was walking through the class while reviewing a lesson when she spotted Alexia slumped on the floor, unresponsive. While I was in the class, I was going over a topic which I did before lunch. I realized that some of the students did not fully grasp the lesson, so before I decided to move on, I decided, let me review what I did. So I went to the chalkboard. Everyone was seated and started reviewing. I don't know if it was God who sent me to walk on her side first. So when I reached up, I saw her on the ground. I said, Alexia, why are you lying on the ground? I did not hear a response, so I said, get up, Alexia, and she did not move. So I bent over where I saw her on the ground. Vomit was on the ground. So I grabbed her quickly and shouted for the other teacher, and he came. And we lifted her up and went to the staff room. Other teachers came, and we rushed her to the Wakefield Medical Center with a vice principal and a caregiver, then to Falmouth Public General Hospital, and then from Falmouth to Conway Regional Hospital. The guidance counselor went with them, recounted Chisholm. She said that it was the first in her 25 years in the classroom she had ever experienced such tragedy. Chisholm said she could not sleep through a Tuesday night and that the incident has left her young charges traumatized. The students are crying. I cried. It is very tough. It's the first I'm seeing something like this. It's hard, tough. The students are sad. They are crying. It's very tough, said Chisholm. Speaking during devotion on Wednesday, a devastated Michael James, the school's principal, sought to comfort the students and the rest of the school population. We have lost one of our princesses, one of our doctors, he said, his voice cracking, face etched in grief. After devotion, James broke down. During an interview with reporters in his office, he revealed that it was deja vu for the school, which is still reeling from the July death of Mikhail Sr., who was a classmate of Alexia. Mikhail would have been a third-grade student, died during the summer holidays, the distraught principal explained. But while heartbroken by the deaths of Alexia and Mikhail, James is encouraged that a grade 5 student who fell ill last week has managed to overcome her illness. Last Thursday, one child from grade 5, she was coming down the staircase, walking casually, didn't feel well, and she fainted. I took her straight to the Falmouth Hospital at the time. After contacting the parents and taking relatives with me, during the journey she passed out twice. While the caregiver was trying to assist her, she passed out again. She's back at school now. I'm giving God thanks for that, said James. Alexia was described as a quiet, diligent, and disciplined student. She was a very quiet, hard-working student. Never received a report of her being involved in any fight, James said. Her class teacher echoed that view. She's very quiet, kind. She doesn't give trouble, and she didn't talk a lot. She did not come to me and say, Miss, I'm not feeling well. She lined up and she came inside like everybody else. There was no sign of illness on Alexia, none. It was so shocking, Chisholm bemoaned. Pastor Andre Sinclair of Reed's Friendship District of Seventh-day Adventists prayed for and sought to console the school population during devotion. 7 guidance counselors from neighboring schools, the school's Parent-Teacher Association president, and other stakeholders also visited the school to offer comfort. Family and other stakeholders will now await the result of a post-mortem to determine the cause of Alexia's death. Driver involved in fatal West Morland crash denied bail. Delroy Rodney, the 47-year-old taxi operator implicated in the death of 5 people, was denied bail when he appeared before the Westmoreland Parish Court on Wednesday. Rodney, who is being represented by attorneys Faith Salmon and Lambert Johnson, had his bail application denied on the basis that the court needs 3 outstanding documents before a decision can be reached. The documents being requested are the report for the black box of the Telton Noah, the examiner's report on the Telton Noah, and the speed limit for the area where the incident took place. The next mentioned date is set for December 6. The prosecutor argued that there are substantial reasons to deny the accused bail. The Crown is submitting that the accused is not a fit candidate for bail. The substantial reason to deny bail is as follows: the seriousness and the nature of the offense, she argued. The prosecutor said that while the seriousness should not be the deciding factor for not granting the accused bail, consideration ought to be given to the offense committed. The prosecutor, in strengthening her case, spoke of the expectations of the defendant's wife and the families of the 5 victims of the crash. The wife of Mr. Rodney was waiting for him to come home. The family of Miss Angela Samuels, Mr. O'Neill Allen, Miss Petrina Wallace, Miss Evasia Forrester and Miss Janet Thompson, on November 13, 2023, were also waiting for them to return home, but sadly, they did not return home and will not return home, the prosecutor stressed. The prosecutor believes it was recklessness on the accused man's part that caused the accident and argued that the passengers entrusted Rodney to take them home safely and that the only care that the accused had was for himself. The Crown is submitting that the only care that Mr. Rodney would have had exercised was care for himself, and hence the reason why the passenger who sat directly behind him is still alive, the prosecutor noted. In driving her points home, she added that if the accused were to be granted bail, it is likely that he'll abscond trial. The prosecutor then made reference to the day of the incident, noting that the officer said when he arrived on the scene, the accused was not there. However, Rodney's defense attorney, Lambert Johnson, asked the investigating officer to confirm that arrangements were made on the evening of the accident to have the accused in custody. I would wish for Sergeant Sherrod to answer to whether or not the same evening the counsel made contact with him in relation to Delroy Rodney for arrangements to take him in. Johnson questioned the investigating officer, to which he replied, "Yes, Your Honor, she did call in response to Mr. Rodney." Johnson also questioned one of the submissions from the prosecutor, who said as a man of God, Rodney should have stayed on the scene and rendered assistance given that he was not physically handicapped by the accident. When persons are involved in accidents, they take temporary flight of their common sense. What should I do? So to suggest that as a man of God, Mr. Rodney was heartless and did not rescue the injured passengers is a bit much. That cannot be the ground or foundation for objection to bail. We know that persons have lost their beloved and we sympathize. So we're not insensible and insensitive to the grief that has been experienced. We cannot. But the principal issues to be considered by the court is Mr. Rodney a flight risk, Johnson reasoned. Johnson also objected to the prosecutor's use of the word overtake, noting that in none of the statements was it ever said that Rodney was overtaking, but instead swerved to the right. He said the other survivor, along with the driver, said that the accused was not speeding. The last witness from the vehicle was given a statement, said Mr. Rodney was not driving fast while on the way from Savlamar, Johnson revealed. In denying bail, Senior Parish Judge Steve Walters said he takes an interest in the black box and the examiner's report of the Tauta Noah. As stipulated, there are reasons for bail to be denied. To take into account, I'll not await the accident reconstruction report nor the post-mortem, but I'd like to see the examiner's report for this vehicle and black box. Let me have those two documents and let me see if this will help me to strike a balance, Judge Walters said. According to police reports, about 3:30 p.m. the taxi, with 7 people on board, was traveling towards White House when the vehicle it was driving behind slowed down. The cab driver swerved, collided with a truck that was driving in the opposite direction and ended up in a tree. 3 of the occupants of the Noah died on the scene, while the other 2 that were transported to hospital succumbed to their injuries on Monday night. Body of teen recovered from West Morland River after 3 days of frantic searching. The body of a teen who met into difficulties while swimming up the Carburetor River in Big Bridge, West Morland, was found on Wednesday. He has been identified as 18-year-old Junior McCoy of a Manchester address. Zone 4 Commander for Little London and the Negril Division, Deputy Superintendent of Police, DSP Sean J. Mitchell, said that McCoy's body was retrieved. It was found short after 3 p.m., about 500 meters from the bridge. The Marine Police was sent there. With assistance from the police and citizens, the body was retrieved, Mitchell explained. He said investigations are ongoing and a post-mortem will be done to determine the cause of death. However, no marks of violence was on his person. McCoy's mother, Denise Morgan, said while the situation has left her traumatized, she is grateful to the Big Bridge community who worked tirelessly to find her son's body. I am grateful. I'm very happy. I got my son's body to bury, and thank you to everyone, including the ladies of Big Bridge, Morgan said on Wednesday evening. McCoy, who had arrived in Westmoreland 3 weeks ago with his cousin to work on a construction site, lost his life tragically. JBN, we keep you informed. Please remember to subscribe, like, share, leave us a comment, and click the notification bell to receive our daily news items.